This weekend, we're back in Kissimmee Prairie Preserve State Park. And let me tell you, this place is great. It's Florida's oldest dark sky park. So join us as we explore the park, see all there is to see, and maybe do some stargazing. So I'll tell you, it feels like you're almost here when you get to the park entrance. Like when you get to the gate, you're like, yeah, I'm here. And then you got to realize you've got like 5 more miles on a washboard road in your RV. So like you're going like 10 miles an hour and everything's just shaking. Like you're feeling that, what's the joke? The earthquake in the camper. Yeah, you feel it. And it's so dark. Like come here on a moonless night. And because it's Florida Dark Sky Park, they're like, don't use your high beams. So it is like you can see like 20 feet in front of your car and you're going down this 5-mile road. It is pretty crazy. It's cool though. This park, like when you look at it on paper, it doesn't seem so big, but when you're actually out here hiking and walking around, and even just walking from like the campsites out to the stargazer pad, it is so much bigger than you would think it would be. At 54,000 acres, it's hard to believe that this isn't one of the largest state parks. So the Family Loop is very old Florida, and by that I mean it's not too hard to park. We've seen a lot of big rigs in here, but you do have to keep your eye out for those overhead trees. They give great shade, but you just gotta see where those branches are when you park, especially if you're parking after dark. You know, take it real easy. So the Family Loop only has a few sites with that great prairie view. I kind of liken it to being on a cruise ship. You want a balcony. At this park, you really want that prairie view if you can get it. That's not to say the other sites on this loop aren't great. They are. But you come here for that prairie view. So depending on what rig you have, it may be a bit of a downside on the Family Loop that you only get 30 amp power. So that'll probably help you pick which loop you want, as one of the big advantages of the Equestrian loop is you get 50 amp power. The Equestrian loop also has a lot more sites with that prairie view. One other interesting thing about the Equestrian loop is it has glamping sites. And by that I mean no RV, no tent, they provide everything. Looks like the firewood's up to $10 now. Still not a bad deal, don't have to bring it with you. So at the Trailhead here, they've actually got like a shoe cleaner, like almost like you're playing golf, like brush the cleats off or brush your shoes off. I'm like, wow, that's so nice. Like you get off a muddy trail, like a place to wipe your feet. No, they don't want you bringing foreign dirt onto the trail. I just thought that was funny. So it looks like there's a bridge out on the trail, so I'm not quite sure how far we'll get. The ranger said it's probably passable without going over the bridge, but I guess we're gonna find out. Either way, we're gonna have a good time checking out the trail. So the last time we were on this trail, we saw like 7 deer. It's about the same time of year too, so we're hoping to see something out here. We've already seen like wild turkeys just walking around. Pretty crazy. The turkeys would actually be like walking through your campsite. Like you'll be sitting in your chair and the turkeys will just like walk right by. So it's kind of interesting. A lot of the parks we've been to lately, just on the west coast of Florida, have all had hurricane damage like from the past few years. That's still very noticeable. I'm not really seeing any damage here, so that's a great thing. All right, first bridge, and the bridge is not out, so I think we're looking positive. So at the ranger station, they gave us some advice here, and I think it's actually fairly good advice for hiking in Florida in general. If you're walking through water, bring along a stick with you, because you never know how deep that next step is going to be. As for us, I think we're going to avoid walking through any of the water.
So there could be alligator.
So this park reminds me a lot of Little Manatee River State Park. There's a 6-mile hike there that's kind of similar to this. I'll throw a link in the description talking about it, so be sure and check it out. The bridge is out. We're gonna see if we can get around it. All right, we managed to find our way around the closed bridge. You'll have to use your imagination on how we did that. All right, and like that, we're done with the hike. Not as long as it said. Maybe we took a wrong turn or something, but it was only about a half mile for us. Oh, and don't forget to bring your bike along on this trip. There's over 100 miles of roads, double track, and trails to explore. It is so cool out here, just hearing the wind in the grass. It is amazing. Like, you just don't see places like this. Pretty cool stuff.